Okay, once you've created your new project or you've opened an existing project, you will be inside your application window. And you can see here it's comprised of a series of panels, just like many of the Adobe applications. And the arrangement of these panels is called our workspace. Premiere Pro does offer several pre-formatted workspaces, which are designed for specific tasks. If I click on Window and I choose Workspace, you can see here these are the different workspaces that are pre-formatted for you by Adobe. So we have the editing workspace. Now we have two different editing workspaces available. We have editing, and then we have the editing CS5.5 version. So if I select editing CS5.5, you can see our workspace changes just a little bit. Our panels are rearranged, and now we actually have a workspace switcher available to us on this drop-down menu. So if I choose this menu over here, I get the same choices I had by clicking on Window. Let me go ahead and go back to editing, which is the new editing workspace, beginning with CS6. And the editing workspace is exactly what its name implies. It's designed to facilitate video editing. So the panels that are set up for you are necessary to perform editing functions. So these are all of our active panels. Again, we can click on Window, we can point to Workspace, and let's go ahead and point to Effects. We point to Effects. Again, as the name implies, this workspace is used when we're working with different types of effects and applying effects. So if I click on my effects panel over here on the left, I can see there are a lot of presets available. There are different video effects available and video transitions. And this allows us to work with our source clip and see our sequence at the bottom here. You can also rearrange the workspace as you want by just simply clicking and dragging. So let's go ahead and grab our media browser here on the bottom left. Once it's selected, you can see that gold or yellowish line around the active panel. If you don't see it, you can open it from the Windows menu or use the keyboard shortcut Shift-8. If I click on the tab for that panel and I click and I drag, you'll notice that an area becomes highlighted. This is called a drop zone. So it's a little different than what you've seen in other Adobe applications where you normally just see a straight line showing your target area. Now we actually have a drop zone. And you can see here I actually have a couple drop zones I can choose from in this panel grouping. So by dragging up, I can see the area that turns that kind of purplish blue color is where it would wind up. So you can see here I have 5 different drop zones that I can choose from if I point up to the area of the effects panel. If I come over to sequence, again we can see we have different drop zones available to us of where we can drop this. If I go just above sequence, you can see that straight line. If I let go, we can see it becomes a tab alongside the sequence tab for that panel. So let's try this again. I'm going to just go ahead and go up towards effects again. Now I'm in that dark area in the center. If I release, I now have a media browser and then Project Boston panel. So by clicking and dragging, now if I bring it to the side, I made another panel grouping alongside the project group. So by clicking and grabbing that tab, I can relocate my different panels and set up a custom work area. Notice also I can hover over the edges of the different panels. When I see a double-headed arrow with my vertical lines, I can click and drag and resize those panels. You can notice all the ones that are stacked on top of each other. When I click and drag, it's going to resize all of those on their width. I can also go between them. I can click and drag and resize the height of my various panels. So by clicking and dragging, I can customize my workspace. Again, I can click and drag an individual tab, which is one panel, and I can click and drag and I can let go when I see that area where I can drop it. Now, again, taking a look at this, if I bring this down, if I bring it here, it's going to make a new panel group. If I bring it next to it, it's going to make a new panel group on the left side. If I bring it to the middle, it's going to replace that panel. So you've got a lot of different options here. Here I can just reorder my tabs by clicking and dragging inside the panel group that's there. And remember, I'm back in my effects workspace over here on the right, so I can see my workspace switcher. I can come back here and I can choose Reset Current Workspace, which is pointing to effects. I'm going to choose Reset Current Workspace. And yes, I want to reset it. And it resets the effects workspace to its original layout. You may not see this workspace pull-down menu up here on the right, so remember you can access it under Window, Workspace, and reset the effects workspace from there. If I set up a new workspace that's a custom workspace, remember I can also point to Window, Workspace, and I can actually choose New Workspace. I can give that a name and it will save my customized workspace for me and add it to my list. I'm going to go ahead and choose Cancel on this. So this is our effects workspace. Remember, we do have other workspaces available that Adobe has created for us. Meta logging. This workspace, you'll notice on the right-hand side, allows me to select different clips, add information about each of those clips in regards to metadata. I can also, if it's an audio file with any speech embedded in it, I can also analyze that text and create a transcript of that file. And we'll take a look at all this stuff much later. But I just wanted you to be familiar with working with our workspaces. Again, Window, Workspace. We're going to be working in the default editing mode.